how not to break drill bits. Step number 1, use a cooling wax or a cooling oil on it, fluid. Step number 2, spend some money on your drill bits. You can spend a couple of bucks on a drill bit or get a whole set of them, or you can spend 15 bucks per drill bit, and after doing, 44 holes through there, we're still on our first drill bit. And in fact, we used it later on in this video. I'll put up a list here of what we used. Pretty simple stuff, really. And here's a little shot of it at night when we finished. Is it just me, or is this starting to look sexy?
All right, it's bending pipe day. Check it out. So yesterday we hauled all of this out of the field of snow. It was kind of funny. We had a chain wrapped around it and had the cat lifting it up. Of course, it wasn't perfectly centered. So I've got one end lifting it up, walking through a snowbank all the way back up to the shop. This is the jig for the peak bending. So a hole gets drilling into the pipe, that gets put on here, and then it gets bent down. Now, all right, so we tried it yesterday with this one at the farm, the other farm, and yeah, that stuff is pretty thick. This is the bender pipe that they give you for leverage, and I'll just show you how thick this metal is compared. These are basically the same diameter of pipe, but they are considerably thicker than top rail. So that means that this was a little seesaw and I was dangling way up in the air trying to get it bent. So what we're going to do is we went out today and Dylan has wanted some oxyacetylene. So that's acetylene, and this is oxygen, and this is the big torch. So the game plan is going to be, Dylan bought the tanks because he wants them, and I bought the gas because I need them. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat up. We're going to drill the hole, then we're going to heat up that center part and have another go at peaking, at bending the peak. So I know this is totally exciting for most of you guys. The end result's going to be exciting, right? But at the end of the day, we just need to find solutions. Find solutions to little challenges. I mean, unbelievably happy with some free pipe, and just because it's too thick and too strong doesn't mean that I don't want to use it. So the nice thing is that I'm not going to need the cross braces. If one of those can hold myself and Dylan up, there's no amount of snow in Alberta that's going to crush these things. So anyway, stick with me and I'll keep you updated. Thanks.
Alright, we need to make ourselves a test piece so that we can figure out what our angle is going to be on this. So each one of these is going to need to have a hole drilled right in the middle of it to bend the peak. So that's essentially what we're doing right here, is we're going to play with one of these and see if we can use the bender that I got from Johnny Seeds and get these hoops made. We did a ton of learning on this project. I mean, just how much of the metal to heat up, how hot to get it. We got it down by the time everything was done, but I mean, this is like our first one, so we're just heating this up so that it bends easy. And wow, does it ever when you get her nice and red hot. It did not need to be that hot, but live and learn. So again, just a wee little bit of pressure. We weren't quite able to bend it down to where that jig is set, just simply because the pieces were so long. I mean, these are single pieces, whereas this jig setup is designed to use 10-foot chunks of top rail from chain link fencing. So we're just going to have to make do, which is exactly what we did. So we got our first peak bent. It looks all nice lying out on the floor like that, but we got to get it out to the farm and template it up against where the posts are. So we kind of rednecked it, and Dylan held on to it, and we drove her a mile down the road. We got her bent, and we went back and popped her in before dark. Looks so good. Alright, it's a new day. We have a sniff as to what we're doing now, how much to heat these things up. So we got to bend 22 ribs for both greenhouses. So 11 per greenhouse. And yeah, we got into a rhythm. Let's put it that way. It was nice. It takes about a day to figure out what you're doing when you're doing something new, and then after that, it's just kind of rinse and repeat. So here we go, rinse and repeat. One thing that we did find, I can talk about it now, I guess, as we're bending this stuff, is the jig to make the Gothic arches, which is what I was planning, and I'll throw some pictures in here as well. We could not get this metal to heat up all at the same time and bend properly around that jig. It just kept kinking. So I think what we decided to do was, well, really, I guess just kind of make our own. It's not the same as what I would have made from the kit that I got from Johnny's, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to work out perfect. So we got all of them bent, finally. On to the next step. Alright, since the Johnny's jig wasn't going to work for us, we decided to go out and pick up a pneumatic bender. So it's a pretty simple bit of kit here. You've got a couple of roller pins, as you can see right there, that hold it, and then that curved part will push it between those and bend it. So we've decided and figured out that 55 inches from the bottom is where we need to make our mark. That will fit directly into our poles at around 14 feet. So we heat that up just a little bit. That paint, thankfully, turns white so we can still see it. We played around with this little machine enough that we have everything set and marked on there, which took a bit of trial and error, I will say. But we put that mark in the middle, and then there's a few other little marks that we made. We know where we have to bend to get the right bend, and we even made a little template that we check it against. And, you know, at the end of the day, these things are going to be able to bend just a wee little bit over that space, so it doesn't have to be incredibly accurate, but the closer the better as far as I'm concerned. This little unit worked quite well. We had to build a box. Obviously, you see it sitting there on a box. The reason for that is because we want to try and bend this pipe while the pipe is all still at the same angle and the same level. So it is sitting level on the trailer deck right now. And again, throw our little test piece up. Hey, looks good. On to the next one. All right, 22 of these things later, and I think this is our last one. If it's not, it's darn close. We'll call it our last one. So now, ooh, ugly coming at you. Now, all we really need to do is sand these off. As you can see, there's a little bit of surface rust from them sitting outside, but fundamentally, those are that's really good pipe. So we're going to need to get these things set up somehow, and I think what we decided on was a short ladder up on the trailer deck and a tall ladder sitting on the ground with a big chunk of steel across it. And then, of course, after we sanded it, we took the air gun and we blew all the dust off, and here you go. 2 coats of Rust-Oleum paint later. I saved you from watching me painting. You're welcome.
Was that exciting or what? I'll let you guys decide. Hey, if you stuck with me, watching me bend my pipe all over the place, then the least you gotta do is join me for the giant erection. Actually, I'll show you 2 of them. Oh, I cannot wait till these things are up. Thanks for sticking around. I very much appreciate all of you. Have a great day.